Hi, this is Sarah.
Hi, this is Vivian.
She's been my friend since 2005 or 6. And so today, I'll edit this. So this is a special motivational Monday. Okay, this is a special motivational Monday because one, we're doing this in Vivian's car, and also because we have a guest speaker, Vivian. So
Hi.
share what's on your heart, Vivian.
So today I wanted to talk about what it looks like to be a healthy and wholesome Christian, what it looks like to be healthy and wholesome before the Lord. And yeah, as me and Sarah were just talking about over dinner, we both realized that God was teaching both of us during this season about the importance of spending time with Him and being in the presence before God. Before we could do anything else, before we could do ministry, before we could pour out to other people, or even before we could do our day-to-day routines, like going to work, meeting up with other people, that we would really have our day would really thrive, and we would be able to operate in so much joy and energy if we first spend time with the Lord. We just really wanted to encourage you guys, whoever is watching this, that this is we think this is something that the Lord has for all of His believers, that He cares about filling them up and spending time with them.
Yeah, I think when it comes to being a healthy Christian, too many Christians are okay with the concept of 15 minutes a day to keep the devil away. You know, as if just reading a devotion is enough to give you exactly what you need, to get through the day, or just to be in such a perfect place with the Lord. It's not bad to just do that. Sometimes that's a start because it gets our mindset in the right place. But we're just really believing that Christians, especially people who desire to be successful in ministry, but not just ministry, just to go to any workplace, to any environment, and to walk in the anointing of the Lord, you need to first be in true intimacy with God. It's not just reading a verse in the morning, or just reading one passage, but it's sitting in the presence of the Lord and waiting for Him to speak to you. Just being in the presence and allowing God to remind you who you are and what your identity truly lies in. It's just being in the love of God, because how can you show the love of God if you haven't first spent time in that love? Something that came to mind as Vivian was speaking to of what it means to be a healthy Christian, God just kind of reminded me how a lot of Christians sometimes if they're asked where do you think you are with the Lord, or how do you think your relationship with God is, sometimes when people give the answer oh, I'm pretty satisfied with my relationship with God, something I've learned is that tends to be a kind of sign that you can always do more. That I believe that we should never just be comfortable in our relationship with God, but we should always be hungry. That we should never say, oh, I'm in a good place with the Lord, and you have no hunger to improve, because you can always get closer to the Father. Every single day we should be excited to get closer with the Lord, not just saying oh, I'm perfect where I am. No, God is always wanting more from us, and we should be wanting more of the Lord. But yeah, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, definitely. So just to echo Sarah's thoughts, in the Bible it says it's the glory of God to conceal things and the glory of kings to go after it. I paraphrased it, but yeah, and I just think oftentimes God really wants, when you're asking God for something and you're waiting on something, oftentimes He wants to give it to you, He wants to speak to you about it, but we actually need to go after it. And what going after it looks like is actually, most of the time, it's spending time with the Lord and praying, and waiting to hear from God. Just from personal experiences, if we spend every day waking up and just talking to God, there will be a lot of times where He will speak to us, and it'll be really cool things. He might highlight someone out to you. He might give you prophetic insight into certain things that are going on in that person's life or in your life. And we miss out on those things if we don't spend time with Him.
Yeah, definitely. And to want God more than you want the things He has to give you is a big thing that we're realizing.
Yes.
Do you love the gift more than you love the giver? And when you are praying for something, are you praying for a thing more than the presence of God, you know. And I just feel like the more time that you spend with the Father, the more he changes your desires to want what he wants. And actually, when you spend more time with God, he purifies the desires of your heart. I can't remember when I heard this, but I heard, I think my pastor got really convicted by someone who said, you know, if God were to answer all of your prayers, would it only change your life or would it change the world? So what do your prayers look like? Do your prayers only have to do with you and making your life better? Or do your prayers look like God's heart for the world? If all your prayers were answered, would it only affect your life or would it affect the people in the world around you? And that's another sign of just like being a Christian who really understands the heart of the Father and who is, thriving in God's work. Yeah.
Amen.
Anything else, Vivian?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for listening. I hope something stood out to bless you and that you can keep this close to your heart as you go out and continue to do all that God has called you to do, just getting close to the Father and seeing how that changes everything. Bye! This is the Motivational. Like and subscribe. Bye!